you have worked a lot on branding yourself as well, on personal branding and, on the other brandings as well. What are your key takeaways for, the people who are
Awesome.
starting?
I like competition. I don't mind competition. I like, there's enough room for everybody. I'm not a greedy type person. What I care about is helping sellers, Amazon sellers. And so
Yeah.
if somebody is a competitor, and you're right.
Yeah, since you're making another tool, so I was just thinking, are you gonna stick around into Amazon field, or are you thinking about any other field going on in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
It's always hard to create a brand and then to be able to be successful. There's so many ways that you can mess up creating a brand, and some of it we know about, some of it we don't. And reviews are one of the things that could crush you overnight. I mean, you launch your product.
After, like, you have been working with Amazon sellers a lot. So do you still prefer, shopping online, or do you like to go there in the malls and stuff?
For some other people, it's going to affect them in different ways, but that's life, right? I mean, there's really nothing we can do except setting yourself up that if you're, a graphic designer and all of a sudden you have all these brand new graphic design things that are putting out work better than yours, then you got to.
They're more like a government now, to be honest. Yeah. Like, whenever you get something to any government employee, and they're like, okay, this will be done in 4 weeks, and it takes 7 or 8.
Whether you're in the digital space or Amazon, I always recommend having mentors, having people that have done before, that have spent tons of time and money and all kinds of things to come back and bring you a nice little package on how they were successful. Then you're paying.
Hi, Shane. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well. So yeah, we just talked about the Q4, and it is going good. But at the same time, is Q4 more hectic for you, or is the Q1 more hectic for you usually?
Yeah, so for us, it's usually the time when it becomes a little more hectic, just in the sense that everybody, goes, oh my gosh, it's Q4. I want to get reviews removed. I want to get my, BSR down where it needs to be. I want to improve my ratings. So that's usually when people come to us. I try to encourage people to be more proactive than reactive, right? Yeah. Like, if you get in contact with us in June, we can have some good, we're going to be filing cases and making things happen, because when we file cases and get reviews removed, it's not an overnight process. It just doesn't happen that fast. So it takes time. So we get a lot of people that will come in Q4 and say, oh, how many reviews can we remove at a time? And it's like, well, we have to be compliant with Amazon, which we absolutely are. And we have to make sure that we're conservative on how we do things. We don't want to make Amazon mad at any point or anything. So we're very, very conservative, but we're seeing a good amount of reviews being removed over these last few months for our customers. So they are excited about it, but those are all people that started a little earlier with us.
Yeah, that makes sense, because Amazon is, famously slow. So, I don't think they can do any job, at the time. They're more like a government now, to be honest. Whenever you get something to any government employee, and they're like, okay, this will be done in 4 weeks, and it takes 7 or 8, and then you're like,
Yeah, it's there. I agree with you. It's usually the things that they do. It is a little slower. They're a huge organization. So if you want something to be done quickly, on any platform, it's going to be a challenge to find that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've worked for organizations where even in those organizations, even in bigger companies as well, if you needed something really taken care of, you have to skip a lot of steps.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, that's the hard part with what we do with Amazon. It's very nuanced in the sense that there's a lot of moving pieces to it. As much as people think it's just click the report and file a case, there's a lot of things that we have to do with terminology, the different places that we want to file. There's a lot of things that we've learned over the years, just once again, being in business we started the business about 5.5 years ago, but the first 2 years was just us trying to figure out how to file cases and making sure ways to get Amazon to respond to the cases that we were filing. We got really, really good. And as I said earlier, now we've removed over 16,000 reviews and have over 700 brands that we work with. So we're very, very proud of that number. We were the first ones in the space to be able to start removing reviews. There's nobody, we don't really have any big, we have some competitors, smaller competitors, but nobody real big. We're the only ones that have software in place that they can activate and deactivate ASINs. Our goal is to make it really easy for the seller. They've got 10,000 other things to worry about in life. So we try to
Yeah.
take the headache review or the review headache away from them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I was noticing that you have, posted a lot about, ethical review removal. So I do understand that, but just to expand on it, because has it ever happened that you were in middle of, looking at reviews and you're like, oh, this product actually is that bad that it shouldn't be removed?
I mean, there is. So, I mean, the good part about what we do is we go after reviews that clearly violate Amazon's own guidelines, their own rules.
Yeah.
So if they mention a competitor, pricing, cussing, hate speech, anything FBA related, right? So if somebody got shipped out late, broken, or used, those are the things that we focus on. Now, I had one, wasn't a client, but a potential client, big client, actually an aggregator that reached out to us about removing reviews. And I said, oh, well, tell me about the product. And they said, well, the problem with the product is that it's toxic, but so we just need to sell out all of our inventory. And I'm like, well, wait a second. What do you mean it's toxic? They're like, well, yeah, it's not like it's toxic. And I was like, well, I'm not going to help you sell things that are toxic. Like that doesn't work. I don't care how much money you have. That doesn't fit with my morals, my standards. And so they said, well, we have this much money. We have this. And I said, no, that's not going to work for me. So the reason why we created TraceFuse is to even the playing field. If you get reviews of FBA and Amazon doesn't take them down or anything like that, or doesn't remove them right away, our goal with the software was to always even the playing field. So if I'm removing reviews and you're going to be selling a toxic product, I want nothing to do with that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to be, that doesn't feel right to me. We've also dropped clients. We've had 2 or 3 clients over the years that have, were doing things that were illegal on Amazon that weren't, compliant. And we've had to drop some clients because of that, because of emails that were sent to us and stuff. And so when we talk about being compliant with Amazon, we take that very, very seriously. And I would never, if you had $1 million, I wouldn't take it to go promote products that are toxic or going to hurt people. That's just it's not a money thing for me. It's just a moral thing. And the same thing with this. I would never want to be, put anybody in a position where they could be hurt because I'm doing something that I don't feel is right, that I couldn't look to my mom and say, hey mom, I'm doing this, and her not go, why were you doing that? That's not right. So yeah, I'm with you. Got to do good business.
When I whenever I'm getting a client, I usually go to their reviews to check out how the product actually is. So that's why I asked, because usually if you don't know anything about the product, you just go through the reviews and you start to get the hint of, oh, so that's the that's the thing they are doing, or that's the thing they are selling and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I asked, because they actually are. So tell me, Shane, like, how did you get this idea of, let's just provide this service? Because, there are a lot of other services out there, and, Amazon has so many more things. But yeah, this is very niche and very, particular thing.
Very niche, right? I mean, we were the first ones to do it. So there was no niche when we started this. I mean, we were the ones that actually paved the way. So the way that we started the company was I have a company, ShaneBarker.com, which is my personal brand. We had some clients that we were working with, and what happened with that was, I'm looking at these clients, and a lot of them were like direct to consumer, and some of them were selling on Amazon. And I'd always wanted to have like a SaaS based product. And so I said, hey, like, what do you guys, what are your issues at Amazon? And everybody said, well, getting reviews removed on Amazon is very difficult if they don't catch them ahead of time, right? And so I said, oh man, we'll be able to figure that out, not a problem. Well, it took us 2 years. Like I said, it was not an easy process. I thought it was going to be, I wasn't I was familiar with Amazon, but I wasn't like an Amazon expert by any means. Well, that's changed because now we've been on the platform for, 5.5 years. That's what made me realize, wait a second. And when we figured out after 2 years, I thought, man, the barriers to entry, if somebody wants to compete with us, is very, very high because of how difficult it is. Now we've made it easier for other companies, which is awesome. I like competition. I don't mind competition. There's enough room for everybody. I'm not a greedy type person. What I care about is helping sellers, Amazon sellers. And so if somebody is a competitor and you're right next to me, we're both helping and being honest about things, I don't mind competition at all. In fact, I think it actually brings more validity to the industry when people are, your competitors. I think it, because if we're the only ones, people would go, that's really weird that you're the only ones. And now that there's some other companies, they're nowhere close to as large as we are, but I think their intent is the same. And I think they're there to help, which is, as long as your heart's in the right place and you're doing good business,
Yeah.
Rock on. I love those kind of competitors. Those are my favorite kind because we can work together.
Yeah. No, no, that makes actually a lot of sense as well, and always promotes a healthy competition as well. But yeah, at the same time, you keep talking about that SaaS product. How like it's it has gotten very easy to make a SaaS product on a surface level due to ChatGPT. But at the same time, if you really have a good SaaS product, it's very hard. Like, how was that journey for you?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not a developer, so that was, I
Mhm.
was a little nervous about that because, I mean, how do you partner with somebody? They're not screwing you over financially or whatever's going on there, right? Like I only know what I know, and I'm
Yeah,
somewhat dangerous, but not dangerous enough to know, how long it takes to create something. So the good part is that we started, talking with Amazon experts, and we really started to kind of develop out what our plan was going to be. Well, a lot of people just jump right in. We didn't do that. We wanted to see if this made sense, and is it a need for the market, which we found there was definitely a need. And then we had to be able to figure it out. And most of the sellers that I talked to before we launched were like, "Hey, this isn't even possible," which was always intriguing to me because then that's a
yeah,
challenge, right? Yeah, I like
yeah,
that. I mean, it's like, oh wait, nobody can do this. I'm like, I think we could figure it out. But I will be
yeah,
honest. Right around the 2 year mark, I was getting nervous because we'd spent a
yeah,
lot of time and money into this, trying to
yeah,
figure it out. And so finally, when we cracked the code, I was like, thank you,
yeah,
thank you for whoever helped us do this. Not only
yeah,
financially, but from I call them the Amazon, review gods were on our side and they wanted to help
yeah,
us. And so, good
yeah.
things happened. Yeah.
No, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's very hard to figure out the a problem, and then connecting with the SaaS product and making sure that SaaS product actually works, and then making sure that yeah, a lot of things, because my friend was making this tool, and he was supposed to launch it in August, and I asked him like, why haven't you launched it? And he was like, the tool is ready, but the problem is somebody can easily snatch the code out of it. And I was like, yeah, it's very easy to just pick a tool apart. So yeah, he spent like he spent 3-4 months just making sure the security was tight enough that code couldn't go out and stuff like that. And yeah, because it's very hard to put your tool out there and for customers to use. And then there's so many like there are so many layers to making a SaaS product successful, and then making sure that it keeps working. And yeah, so yeah,
Well,
that's that.
that's the key is like, to keep it working, and there's constant changes in Amazon and you have competitors and, I mean,
Yeah,
those are all things that are, it is what it is. It's part of having a SaaS product. I'm used to changing markets. I'm used to, if things are too stable for too long, then I get nervous anyways, right? I always want to build new things and, make tech better. And so for me, I don't wait for, somebody to pull the rug out from under me, right? For me, it's like, hey, how can we make this better? How can we have a better relationship with, with our customers? I also do all of our own sales calls. So I pride myself in that because I want to know, what are the features you like? What are the features you don't like? Or is the price point? Does this make sense for you? I talk with anywhere from 20 to 50 sellers a week. So we're,
nice.
and sometimes, yeah. And sometimes I'm telling them, hey, you know what? I don't know if it's a good time for you to work with us yet. Maybe you
Yeah,
don't have a lot of critical reviews. And, we all know that when you start a brand, the minute you make $1, what happens? You have 10 people that want $1. Right. And
yeah,
so it's like, how do you get past that? And so I always tell people, hey, listen, we'll always be around. Let's reach out in 3 months or 4 months or
yeah,
5 months. Like, we'll always be here. We're not an absolute necessity for you today, but guess what? Once things really start to happen and you see some good things happening. So I don't push people into sales. I don't push people into signing up. In fact, if anything, I'm the one that's like, hey, let's wait. And I've had people go, oh, I don't want to wait. I'm like, okay, well, then you
yeah,
can sign up. I've got no problem with that. I'd love to have you
yeah.
as a customer. I just don't, you're not going to see miracles in the beginning because you don't have a lot of critical reviews. So there's not a lot to file on. So the results might not be crazy in the beginning, but we will protect you and monitor you over time, which is obviously something that Amazon sellers really enjoy in regards to our platform.
No, no, that's very important as well. And since the name is TraceFuse, what other things are you considering? Because I don't think you are just sticking at just reviews.
You know me too well, my friend. Yes, so we are working on some other stuff. It's outside of TraceFuse. I'm trying to think what I can tell you because we're implementing it. We're working on it right now. We do have some other SaaS products that are going to be outside of Amazon that we're working on. So those will be launching, kind of like your friend's SaaS product. It's like, well, I'm hoping in January. I think in January we'll have it
Yeah.
fully launched, but it is going to be in the review space. It's
Yeah.
definitely going to be in the Amazon space, but we're going to be doing something very different in the marketplace that nobody's seen before. Even TraceFuse is similar to what it does, but it's not exactly. So yeah, we're really, really excited about that. I like to diversify in any way that we can help sellers, and if we make some money from it, great. But I always, my goal is always to, like, we have an Amazon review checker tool that we offer for free on the website, where people can go in and put in their ASIN. They get a report, and that report will tell them, hey, which reviews they should be filing on, which ones are the reviews
Nice.
that are in violation. Yeah, so that's a free tool. It doesn't cost anybody anything. Well, it costs me money to do it,
Yeah.
to get the data, but it doesn't. It's free to the consumer. So we always
Yeah.
offer that to Amazon sellers. We also have a PDF, and they can look on how to file cases. Like, we give up a lot of information, because I would love for a seller to be able to do it, not have to hire us, because it's really helpful. I mean, let's put it this way. If I didn't like working with Amazon sellers and I didn't want to help them, I wouldn't be offering free tools that would cut me out of business. I look at it like I really, really want to help sellers. Like, my thing is, it's already hard enough to do a brand, man. You know how that is on Amazon. So it's hard to be successful. So if I can help and make it so they can save some money and do this on their own, I like I said, I'll give you guys the Amazon review checker. We'll put the show in the show notes, and they can click on that, and they can go over there and try it for free.
Sure. Yeah, no, definitely. Now, Shane, switching the conversation into a kind of different direction, is that, you have been in the digital marketing space for a very long time. So, how different it is, because I also came from digital marketing space to Amazon space. How different is that transition? Because it's a whole different world out there.
It really is, man. It's apples and oranges. I mean, there is, like, it's just crazy jumping in the Amazon space. Being new to the Amazon space, it's a whole new world. It's not even, it's its own world inside of a world. Like, it's pretty crazy, because you have, in Amazon, you have different communities, which I've never seen like that before. Like, you have like the Jewish community, and you have the Mormon community, and you have, Indian. There's so many different communities and I think they start those because it's sometimes difficult to sell on Amazon and the new changes. So it's nice to have other people around you that are all selling different stuff, and what can you do to talk about strategy and what's working, what's not working. So, but it's really interesting that I think Amazon puts out, information about changes they make, but a lot of the times they don't. And so I think these communities are so big and so important when it comes to this, because it's very difficult. Amazon is, like any big platform, it's very nuanced. There's a lot of different things you have to do. They can change their policies. I think what Amazon sellers have to remember is that you're a guest on Amazon, right? And sometimes people forget that. I think they think, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and it's like, well, I'm not saying they don't love you, but at the end of the day, they have, they have to take care of the consumers, right? It becomes a little tricky sometimes.
Yeah, it's a very, like, coming from, and the digital marketing in Amazon is also very different. Like, you have to move very differently. Like, if you take a D2C brand that's just doing well on Shopify, or well on website, or even well on for example, there are a lot of brands that come to life on Instagram only, and then they go off and do other stuff. But a brand that starts on Amazon is very, very different. Like, it's very profit centric. At the same time, they have very low margins and stuff, and at the same, it's a different world out there. So how was it for you? Like, when you came into it and you were like, how was it for you?
It was a huge culture change, right? For me, I've been in the digital space where we had done, I'd done SEO and, websites, and I created an influencer marketing program with a friend of mine, Amanda, over at UCLA. So I have a long history in the digital space, and I loved it because it was constantly learning new platforms, new things. It was awesome. And then, so for me, a challenge of Amazon, I was like, oh, hey, let's figure it out. Now, I will tell you, I didn't expect it to take 2 years to figure out how to file cases with Amazon. That was a little humbling. That sobered me up pretty quickly. I was like, wait a second, this is taking a long time here. So, but the good part about that is that we were able to figure that out. Not an easy process, but we did. And so I love that. I mean, anything we can do to be able to help people, that's always a big thing for me. But compared to digital, I mean, there's some overlap, but not a lot. I mean, there's similarities in what you can what you can do SEO wise, but there's two
Yeah,
totally different platforms. Google and Amazon there's some similarities, but it's, there's just a lot of moving pieces that need to happen, that need to align for that all to make sense. And you have thinner margins, as you talked about, which is not a problem. But if, Amazon starts eating that up with some this or
yeah,
tariffs or anything else that happens, like those are all things that affect your bottom line. And that can be, if you're not going direct to consumer, if you're not selling on your, Shopify or something like that, that can be a challenge, because it's Amazon's going to do what Amazon does. I mean, that's just how it is they own the platform, they own the company. You might feel like they're not doing the best thing for you. Well, they're not always looking at you. They're really looking at their end consumer, right? That's who they're really going to make sure that they're happy with. And that's kind of the reality of it. So you got to make sure you have good customer service and all the good stuff to make sure that people are buying stuff on Amazon, and that, you can keep those margins healthy.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But yeah, since you're making another tool, so I was just thinking, are you gonna stick around into Amazon field, or are you thinking about any other field going on in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
So right now, this other one is going to be Amazon based, but we probably will branch out from there, because what the tool is going to be less about just Amazon sellers. It'll start off heavy on the Amazon side, but we will branch out to other
Next.
other platforms. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the review space. I enjoy helping people. That's kind of my big thing. Especially because, as you said, it's always hard to create a brand and then to be able to be successful. There's so many ways that you can mess up creating a brand, and some of it we know about, some of it we don't. And reviews are one of the things that could crush you overnight. I mean, you launch your product and somebody gives you a 1-star review. If you don't get that removed, your launch is toast. You're done.
Yeah.
So that's very hard and very frustrating. So once again, anything we can do to alleviate that stress is the goal.
Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, Shane, what are like, since you have worked a lot on branding yourself as well, on personal branding and on the other brandings as well. What are your key takeaways for the people who are starting out in the branding side, or in the because it's a two-tiered question. Like, first I want to ask about your experience on Amazon brands, but also I want to talk about the a personal brand kind of stuff as well, like when the people are talking about building their own brands as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, building a personal brand, I started, I don't know how long ago. My website was probably, Shane Barker was probably 15 plus years ago. It's been a while. For me, it was more education. Like it was some personal branding, but that wasn't the goal. My goal was to educate people and say, hey, we're doing this good, we're doing this bad. Hey, this is what's worked, this is what hasn't worked. I mean, no different than little communities in Amazon. It's just, we were doing SEO and people are like, oh, how can you be successful in SEO? It wasn't even SEO when I started. Like that, there was no real name for it yet. So what we were looking at is, I was like, hey, how can I educate people, right? That's always been my big thing, is like, how can I make it easier for people? It's already hard enough, as I said, starting a brand, building a website, doing all these things. So a personal brand to me is very important, right? Because the good part about it is you don't have to have millions of followers. I mean, I obviously grew up in the influencer space as well. So a lot of people have these misconceptions that you need to be huge, or you need to have an email list that has 100,000 people on it. You really don't. A personal brand can be, as long as you're putting out good content and you're listening to your audience and making good things happen there and offering value and benefits to them, then you should be able to build an audience pretty quickly. But you don't have to be the biggest fish out there, right? I mean, we think about this. I tell people when they're creating courses and stuff, it's like, man, if you charge, let's say, whatever, $500 a month for a course, and if you had, 100 people in that course, that's $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a chunk of change, and so, that's not, you don't have to have 1 million people in there. It can be smaller and more condensed. And there's also more quality if you have a smaller amount of people as well. You can spend more time with people. So, all of that stuff is a personal brand, right? Like, no matter where I go, what's beautiful, let's say if I went to go work for a company, I bring my personal brand. I have all, my LinkedIn's gone crazy. I've got all this audience. I mean, it's no different. You think about celebrities, and I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but like, think about The Rock as an example. Well, when The Rock goes and does a movie, guess what? Part of his negotiation is his audience. He has such a huge audience there. Like, he knows that, hey, listen, I can sell $50 million in tickets just by promoting through my own Instagram.
Yeah.
People go, oh my God, that's amazing. So you're not only just the rock, but you're also bringing this extra fire
Yeah.
that's going to be able to bring more people. And so with a personal brand, I'm not saying you're going to be able to be the rock or the, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the rock, right? I would be like a little pebble compared to the big rock.
Yeah.
But what I look at was like, well, hey, I'll always have this audience, right? Not always, but I mean, at least they know who I am, and it brings some, if I'm going to go at a speaking event, people will come to the speaking event. If I ask people to do a survey, they do a survey. So there's a lot of things that those trusts that I've built my audience that I would not burn for even $1, right? For me, it's once again doing the right thing, and people trust me. If I say, hey, this is the best software for this XYZ, it is the best software for XYZ. I don't take that lightly. If I recommend somebody, it's because I've used it and I love it, and I would highly recommend it. So that's, for me, it's not I've never sold out financially to only promote softwares that give me a lot of money. Like, I don't do that. I look at things and say, how can I keep you? If you follow me, I want to make sure that at the end of the day that anything that I say is going to be true. And I've tested it myself, and good things have happened.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, like I started off as a content writer, so and also I used to tweet as well, like every content writer. So I asked somebody for for help on my blog, and they were like, they looked at everything and they were like, oh, these technology things that you write, they are very captivating. That's when I figured out that since I love technology myself, I am able to emphasize more on it. And then I realized that, okay, so the things that I talk about, like instead of things that I don't know about, because as a content writer, you write, bunch of stuff. So the things that I actually know a lot about and I'm passionate about, if I talk about them, that gives me leverage. So then I started understanding that, okay, so everything that I'm good at, if I talk about it, people will listen to me rather than, I just going off on, doing weird stuff. And that, I think that was fun initial lessons that I got. And then I also made a blog for, just to talk to people and, just write about my technology and my digital marketing experiences. And that's, turned it into SZAdil. And then, and now we are here with the, stuff. But yeah, at the same time, it's also about that, the thing that, you have to be very careful about, what you promote or what you not promote. And, which direction do you lead your audience to? Because that's, because they're relying on you, and if you lead them, the wrong side, that actually makes sense.
Well, and that's the hard part, is it takes a long time to gain trust, but it takes one post to lose trust. Right.
Yeah.
So if you're, and I'm not saying don't promote crypto or promote, whatever you want to promote, but you got to be real careful on, and nothing bad against crypto, because I have crypto and, trust me, I know plenty of people that have crypto are doing great, but you got to be real careful when you're throwing stuff out there on how you're marketing it, because for me, if I was going to promote something through crypto, I would tell people, hey, I personally invested, once again, there's a risk with everything. I'm putting this out there. I've made some money or I haven't made some money, and being very honest, and then people can either give it a try or not give it a try. But, what you don't want to do is oversell it. Oh, I've made hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh my God, I've got 9 Ferraris, and you don't have any of that. You're going to lose people very quickly, right? I mean, it's just nobody's going to believe what you got, and then you're just going to be moving to the next scam or thing that you're doing, and it's just not the way to do things. I've always been very, very conservative on who I've decided to work with, and that's only because I also want those people to also only send me people that they trust, and there's something about my word and the passion that we have for the things that we do, and it's important to be able to. I tell people, hey, if I referred that person, you're not going to have a problem with them. Like, right? You guys might not be a perfect fit, but at the end of the day, I think that you guys are, and you guys should have that conversation. And there's no financial gains by me connecting you with that person. I'm more looking at this as, hey, how can they take care of you? And will they take care of you? That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. And also diving into a little bit more into, influencer space and stuff like that. How has your experience been? And what's next in the influencer space? Because I see it dynamically changing. Like the way I see it is, it was a lot of written content back in, before COVID. During COVID, it was all TikTok. And then since then, I haven't, followed the influencer stuff. Yeah. So what's going on there? What's the next thing there? Yeah.
I mean, TikTok obviously is still going crazy. I mean, TikTok Shop and all that. You can see a lot of that happening with the integrations that they have,
Yeah,
with different platforms to show that they're not going anywhere. TikTok is still the hot one. I mean, that's I think where most people are spending their time when it comes if you have products and things that you want to sell. There, the thing what we got to figure out is, and which is going to be a challenge, is the AI thing, right? I mean,
yeah,
we've been using AI obviously with TraceFuse for about 3 years now, even before Chat GPT and everything. That was a way for us to be able to look at reviews at scale, because obviously we have to, having 700 brands that we work with on a daily basis, that's a lot of reviews. So AI
yeah,
was to help us be able to accelerate that and help with the accuracy and a number of different things. But I think AI is going to be really interesting and challenging because there's always new stuff coming out, right? I mean, Nano Banana, and you got, anyways, there's all kinds of them, right? I mean, there's every day it feels like there's a new thing coming out. I think that's
yeah,
what's going to be a challenge, is trying to get people to understand how they can implement this into their own business, right? You have people that are early adapters. Hey, I want to use AI for everything. That's awesome. You have other people that are like, I'm a little nervous about it. Other people are older and saying, hey, AI just scares me. I don't want anything to do with
yeah,
it. There's levels to it, but it's no different than when the internet came about, no different when social media came about. These are all things that came and we were nervous about them at the time. And guess what? It's didn't,
yeah,
is it going to affect people and jobs and stuff? Of course it will. I mean, everything does, right? I mean, you could, there's it, we don't know what the full effect is going to be. I do know that it's going to can be great for some things, and for some other people, it's going to affect them in different ways, but that's life, right? I mean, there's really nothing we can do except setting yourself up that if you're, a
yeah,
graphic designer and all of a sudden you have all these brand new graphic design things that are putting out work better than yours, then you got to think about that, right? You got to figure out which direction are you going to go in. So that's what I'm excited about with the influencer space. Really just anything is AI, because the amount of things that are happening, is pretty incredible right now. Like it's almost impossible to keep up. I mean, that's every
yeah,
day I hear
exactly.
of a new thing and new this. It's like I said, it's like drinking water through a fire hose. It's like it hurts, and you're like, man, I'm trying to get as much information as possible. It's like, man, it's just it can be a challenge, but it's fun as well.
Yeah. So have you utilized, these graphics kind of AI tools in your day-to-day life? How's that experience been?
Yeah, so we have. So we dibble and dabble in it. Obviously, we use AI, as I said, with TraceFuse. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
we, grab reviews and look at reviews that violate Amazon's guidelines. That was a great addition because, we didn't have to have a crazy big staff. Right now with AI, we're definitely creating some, I've created, my team actually just sent me over one. I'll have to share it with you. It's like a picture of me inside of a glass container. And I look like it's actually a picture of me, like a 3D rendering of me, but I look like I'm at a sports shop, but I'm like inside the
mhm,
glass. So anyways, it's the stuff that you can do these days
yeah,
is it just blows my mind. Like my team literally sent this to me today and I was like, wait, what is this? And they're like, this is you. And it looks like at a sports shop and you're inside this glass casing. And it's like me speaking, me putting my hand out, because it's one of the pictures I have. And it blows me away. They did another one of almost like an action figure.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
said like the king of Amazon reviews. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, it's awesome. It's kind of fun to see all the different things, because I mean, back in the day, I wouldn't even be able to think, hey, let's make me an action figure, because I don't think of myself as
yeah,
like Superman or anything. But then when my
yeah,
team created that, I was like, wow, that's awesome. It's kind of cool to be able to see that. But it's every day is a new adventure, and you see so many cool things, and it's like, how did you guys create that? Oh, that took us 17 seconds, and it's like, man, that is incredible. It's
yeah.
just pretty crazy the amount of time that that it takes to be able to do some of this stuff. It's a game changer.
Yeah, and also it's growing so rapidly that again to your point that it's so hard to keep up with it, that it's just like I tried keeping up with some of these for I think 2 months, and then I was like it's just too much. I'll just Google it when the time comes. So yeah, now what I do is I just look at the stuff and then I just Google it, what it does and stuff like that, because
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the same with me. I have other people go and do all the research and then say what are the good tools. We had talked about doing something in the AI space in the sense of like community or something.
yeah,
We haven't decided against that, but there's just so many changes. It's like how do you take all of this information and then be able to give that to the people that, that want to know the information and who needs what. And, you just got to try to make it simplistic, which is not always easy for some people. There's different levels of, of tech and what you understand, what you don't understand. And, we'll see, man, but it's definitely it's an awesome time to be alive. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Me too as well. I think we are the only generation that is going through all of it. Like we went through the TV phase as well, and then the internet phase, and now the AI phase, and also the COVID phase. Like that
Yeah.
was the weird time of the. I think
It was really odd. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, the COVID thing was like, wait, what just, like, I was looking around going, what just happened? Like, where are we? Well, it looks like it was like something from a movie, it's like nobody can have you shut down if you're paying your taxes and doing all your things.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you could be shut down. It's like, wait, what? I didn't even do anything wrong. And it's like, well, it's just the way that it is. And everybody had different protocols and this, and you can do this or not do this. And yeah, it was crazy. Even now I look back and I go, I'm still trying to figure out what happened. Like it was a crazy, crazy time. But the good part about that is that we, used to do a lot of government consulting. So I tried to help as many businesses as I could during COVID because, if I know how to save a business and can make it better for them, I feel like it's my fiduciary responsibility to jump in there and help them as much as I can. So I did a lot of consulting for the government actually during that time. Yeah, it was just to kind of help out because it's like, if you own a restaurant, you had a restaurant for 30 years, you might not know how to do an app to be able to, get orders online and to be able to do the deliveries when you're used to people coming in and butts on seats. And now it's a totally different business model. And you're like, I wanted to sell in 1 year. And guess what? Now they can't sell because it's COVID. And now they're like, what do I do? My business is going to go down. And it's like, man, that just sucks. So I was like, what can I do to be able to jump in there? And I mean, this has nothing to do with Amazon. This just has to do with being a good person and saying, hey, how can I make this right for these people and be able to keep their business going? And a lot of them, we were able to keep going. So I was very, very proud of that.
Yeah. One thing I remember and that made me really happy was we really lived near basically the national park, and a lot of animals came back because the human activity stopped. So that was really nice. And also, if you remember those images of the cities that were kind of shut down, so yeah, those were nice. But other than that, it was a very weird period of life.
I actually enjoyed that too, like more dolphins and more animals coming out and stuff like that. I did enjoy that. I mean, you can tell I'm an outdoors type person, right? I got mountains in the background. I've got dogs. I mean, I enjoy animals and I enjoy, we're humans, so we take over land and take over stuff. But it was nice to see that, more deer, more animals were coming out because there was less humans out there. So that was an upside for sure. That was nice to see that. I didn't like people getting sick or people losing their businesses, but like anything in life, there's ebbs and flows with everything. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's bad. We just got to learn how to handle it.
Yep. So Shane, after you have been working with Amazon sellers a lot, so do you still prefer, shopping online, or do you like to go there in the malls and stuff?
I shop online, man. Like a high percentage of the stuff that I do, because I have like certain brands that I like and certain types of products that I like that I know like fit me well, or certain shoes that I like that that fit really well when I'm running or something. So I know what I like now, and so now I know the sizes that I need, and it's very very easy to go find the deals. If I want to go get 30% off my shoes, I can go to the mall and pay full price, or I can go online and just wait for these shoes to come out. And Black Friday's right around the corner. I've got a nice little big list that I want to that I want to be able to take a look at.
Guy for an outdoorsy guy, you just said that. But yeah, I do understand that. It's easier and it's actually better, and also you can open up 5 tabs and have everything consolidated.
I love it. I mean, it's almost too convenient. Amazon has made it almost too convenient. I mean, it's a one-click purchase. You want to go return something, you go to return it. They return the money to your account even before you return it. Like they've actually made it so that it's so convenient that I don't know how other companies, it's going to be very hard for them to be able to knock them out of that number one spot, because they looked at What they're looking at is convenience for the consumer, right? They want to, if I'm a consumer and you're a seller, they want to make sure that I'm happy. They want you to be happy. But guess what? There could be 20 other people or 200 other people or 10,000 other people that sell your exact product. So if you're acting out of hand, if you're doing something different, if you're not doing good customer service, or if you have a crappy product, you're going to naturally fall back down. But they want to keep me happy because they want me to be buying products and making sure that I'm happy. And so that's, the Amazon switched to making sure the consumers were happy, not as much on the seller side. I'm not saying they don't care about sellers. They do. But I think we all know that if you're a seller, you know that Amazon cares about the consumers, which is the way that they're going to sell products. So it does make sense.
Yeah, it also holds sellers accountable as well, because we know that if our product is not that good to the consumer, we are in trouble. Because I know other platforms that don't care, and you can have a 1-star product and keep selling it, which also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Amazon does a good job of, validating to make sure you have good customer service. I mean, they have their own little system that will make it so that it'll know whether you have a good product or not. Not only a good product, but good customer service, pricing. There's a lot of different things that play into that. Some people don't like that. And then I'm with you. It's more of like, well, that's, at least I know that this is going to be a good product if Amazon's putting it out there. And they want to, no different than Google wants the best option, for, if you're looking up something on Google, they want the best option to be the one that does the best business, right? And that has good reviews and good things. The same thing with Amazon. So it's nice. Yeah, they're not letting just anybody sell them there. And if they are, and they start getting bad reviews, they're going to move you back down. They're going to move you or up in the BSR so that you won't be seen anymore. So yeah, there is some, it's nice to protect consumers like that.
Yeah. And so, since we are hitting our mark, so, I'm going to end it here. But Shane, based on your experiences, what are 2 advices that you would give to people, both on Amazon, one on Amazon and one on digital marketing space?
Yeah. So I think for the digital marketing space, what I would do is my recommendation would be don't try to do everything at once, right? If you're going to do your personal brand, figure out where you want to specialize in, and maybe maybe you give it 3 to 6 months and you try, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Let's say those are the places, depending on what you sell and what your services are. And you want to figure out where you want to be able to promote yourself, but give it some time, give it 3 to 6 months, see what you want to do, what you expect those results to be, right? Is that just to build your brand, build followers, to actually generate revenue, whatever that may be, but don't go after everything. And, just because they have a new platform that just started up doesn't mean you need to be on there and be active every single day. So what you got to do is plan that out, right? If you're spending all your time on social media, that means you don't have any clients, right? So that's a problem, right? You got to be able to make some money too. So that's what I would do, is keep it simple, put a plan together and then implement that plan, but give it an appropriate amount of time. You're not going to see, Rome wasn't built overnight, right? Just because you want to do an email newsletter, and guess what? You're only going to have 0 people in the beginning. We all started there. So you got to kind of grow it from there. So just take time, figure out what you want to do, put a plan together. So, when you're going to plan to either jump ship and not do that anymore, and when it makes sense to make those decisions. On the Amazon space, I would say, hey, just, always have mentors, have people that are in this space, like I said, build those communities. So if you're part of a certain community, it's always nice to build those communities, be supportive. It's nice to have more and more people like looking at Amazon and what's going on, and people to be able to support folks. That's very, very highly recommended. I mean, whether you're in the digital space or Amazon, I always recommend having mentors, having people that have done before, that have spent tons of time and money and all kinds of things to come back and bring you a nice little package on how they were successful. And you're paying a premium for that, but that's worth it. Because trust me, when I was younger, I was like, no, I'll figure it out. I missed out on all kinds of opportunities because I would go and figure it out on my own. It would take me 6 months when I could have hired somebody for way less cost because I'm spending all this time doing it. And then guess what? That could be taken care of. Now I have an amazing team all around me that do these things, when I used to be the one that would have to go do everything. And it's not the way you scale a business. And so if you want to scale your business, you got to understand all these things to a certain extent, and then get somebody else that's going to take those on and then manage your team. So those are my recommendations.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's very profound as well. And, that makes sense because mentors do cut down a lot of time as well. They actually, give you a straight answer. And sometimes, you really need to hear that. Also, they actually help you with a lot of things because they have gone through, a lot of channels. So they actually tell you straight out that, this is how it's going to be and this is, how you can do it. So yeah, that actually makes sense a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I have. And this
Thank you
this
so
has
much,
been
Shane.
awesome. Yeah,
It
thank
was
you for
very
having me
nice.
on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming here.
Of
Take care.
course. Thank you so much.
Bye.